Hello and welcome to the Geek on My Sleeve channel. Today we're doing a TBR to be read for October. Essentially, every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be doing a live book discussion. And here's how you know what's coming up that Sunday.
Unless we say otherwise about the 8 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes we change it up just to mess with you guys, but currently 8 p.m. Eastern. So, first Sunday of the month, October 4th, we have Rexus Side Quest, The Completionist Chronicles Book 3 by Dakota Kraut. Second weekend, October 11th, Sunday, Heaven's River. Super excited this is finally out. Bobaverse Book 4 by Dennis E. Taylor. Third Sunday, we are doing Dune Messiah, Book 2 of the Dune Chronicles by the father of sci-fi himself, Frank Herbert. And then week 4, Sunday, October 25th, changing things up for you guys. We are such huge Stormlight, Brandon Sanderson fanboys that we have decided to do a theory crafting stream with you guys, and we will be covering all the chapters released up until that point, fair game on spoilers, and just playing in the space, having fun. We might be singing some songs, drinking some sparkling water, may break out the more toxic colored wines. I can't remember how they scale in Stormlight. But yeah. So now to give you guys a little bit more info on each of these lovely titles and why we're talking about them.
So, October 4th, Rexus Side Quest. So, if you've read the first book, second book, we get introduced to Jackson, the chiropractor, and this is his book. It's a fairly short book. It is amazing, and it does so much for the development of the character, and it ends up adding another character into our entourage. But it is, oh man, it's amazing. My favorite part about the Rexus is just the character himself. It's one of those that you get to see the other side, because so far in the series we think of the Wolfman as evil, and that's what we're going up against. But this one we get to see a little bit more insight into the Wolfman. We get to see a little more insight into Jackson, and then it's very unique the way the dungeons work in this game. And oh man, so the video game mechanics are phenomenal for the dungeon. The character development is amazing. The seeing the flip side or other side of the coin for the Wolfman. It's a series or a book in the series that I really enjoy.
If you didn't truly love Jackson, I challenge you to read it. And if you don't love him at the end of this, let me know because I just don't understand how. It is a lot of fun to follow this dude. You get a bit more of his backstory, kind of understand his quirks a little bit, and just so much fun. Next book, we've been waiting for a long, long time. Actually, it's coming out in a couple days of recording this. We will have probably listened to this book at least half a dozen times by the time we're ready to talk to you guys on October 11th. Heaven's River. So, if you've read the first three, uh, if you haven't, go read the first three. And then book 4, it's pretty much following Bender. So at the point of book 4, the search for Bender, right, It's been 100 years since Bender set out from, going from memory, it's been a minute, when Bob was out hanging out with the Deltons. Um, Luke and Bender went off. Luke eventually came back, but we don't know what happened to Bender. So at the end of book 3, Bob decides to go and find out what happened to him and explore this uncharted space. At this point, we're now 24 generations out of Bob's. So much about the Bobiverse has changed. I cannot wait to go and play in Bob's virtual sandbox again. And we hope you'll come hang out with us. You'll have a couple weeks to get through it by the time we're talking about this.
Well, I enjoy the first three, and there's been a bit of time between each of the first three, but this is the longest time he's had in between book releases. And by the end of book 3, we feel like we're no longer in fight or flight mode. We're no longer reacting to, the great void and beyond and protecting humanity as a whole. So it's such a relief. And then we can, essentially do whatever we want at this point. So for the title to be Heaven's River, it really adds an extra element of like wishful thinking of what possibilities could be. So I'm just thoroughly excited about it going forward.
Third Sunday, October 18th, Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert. I've said it before, going from memory, this is probably my least favorite of the six. But that being said, I am a huge Dune fanboy, and this is just so crucial to the overall story. It's relatively short, but yes, it's important because this takes place after he becomes emperor and all the kind of challenges there. I've read it. I've probably read the full series dozen plus times at this point. It's going to be a first read for Peter so he can kind of give you a more fresh eye perspective on where we left off and just maybe his thoughts going into it.
Yeah, so at the end of one, it felt satisfying. Like we became the prophesied child and protected, our family and our world. And there's just so much potential going forward. And his sister is, spitballing. I've not really looked too much into it, but it seems like his sister is going to play more and more of a critical role going forward. So I'm curious to see. And then when you say Messiah, it sounds like another prophecy. Yet again, fresh eye. Haven't had a chance to read through the book. Enjoyed the elements in the first book. It is a well known series, so it's got to be good.
Yes. And if you haven't already, look into Dune 2020 films coming out. We have a reaction video up, which I'll try to plug accordingly. I always get mixed up on my corners here. One of those guys. And then the final weekend, super pumped about this. We're probably going to be doing a bit of fan theory crafting on our Discord a bit more before October 25th. We have, at the point of this recording, our Geek Out for Oathbringer coming up. And then to keep things rolling as we get ready for Book 4, Rhythm of War, we want to do some theory crafting with you guys. First time having a dedicated stream for it of the Stormlight archive in all its epic goodness. I really struggle saying like this is my favorite of this genre, but for epic fantasy, it's definitely a hardcore contender for me. And frequently with the book dragons we hang out with, they say it's their favorite epic fantasy. Brandon Sanderson, amazing. Super pumped about this. Pete, what do you got?
So, a bit of theory crafting in the potential to upcoming but Brandon has also released some of his notes or some of the chapters on his website. So we will also be referencing those. So if you didn't know, Brandon Sanderson does updates, has a web page. Attempt to link it in the descriptions below, where we're going to deep dive into the nitty gritty of the 3 books up until this point, as well as what we can theory craft going forward into what Brandon has released. Amazing series. Brandon Sanderson is way up there. Um, Sadly, I don't think I have a whole lot of like epic fantasies under my belt. I kind of went more towards like lit RPG, and I never finished the Wheel of Time. So that was the other one, or why Brandon, became what he is today. But yeah, I'm excited about the theory crafting, and the lineup as a whole for October is quite exciting.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I wish there were more Sundays each month, but until we start making the big bucks from this channel, we'll have to limit ourselves to Sunday nights. Um, Once that happens, though, at the rate we listen to books, we could be geeking out with you guys every night, every other night. Maybe eventually we will. Or once we get Bob's technology and frame jack to get some of our other work done, then that is possible. So yeah, there's the lineup. We're looking forward to geeking out with you guys. Start getting your suggestions for November on what you might want us to talk about. We kind of have our series we're following right now. That way you guys can read along and join us, but we're always down for community suggestions and changing it up. And with that being said, we hope to geek out with you guys here soon.
Bye.
Bye.